Hello everyone, David here. Now, you may have heard of this rather pesky virus called COVID-19 that has put an end to socialising and events for about a year and a half. In particular, social dancing was one of the first things to go, because you're in close contact with lots of people, there's touching, lots of people in the same room for a long time, it just completely disappeared. But now, it's coming back. And I'm off to Ceroc at Pimlico tonight, and I want to find out just how it's changed, really. Like, how are we doing things differently? And what it feels like to be back in a room with lots of other people changing dance partners. Let's find out.
The main thing that's different is that we are essentially checking your COVID status. So it's asking you for proof that you're either fully vaccinated or you've recently tested negative, either that day or the day before. The digital pass that's on the NHS app, that's very versatile. You can load it up instantly. It takes about 5 minutes on the first time you do it just to log in and get into it. But after that, it's 30 seconds to show it.
Is that the only thing people need to do? They don't need to wash their hands after every dance or take a shower before they come or something?
Yeah. Ideally, they were doing this before, but take care of personal hygiene. So, washing yourselves, but in particular, washing your hands more regularly. Use hand sanitizer. Either bring your own little bottles of hand sanitizer, or we'll have some at the main door and on stage that you can use.
And how have you found people have reacted to this? Are they very happy to come back and get their COVID pass, or is there a bit of resistance to this kind of thing?
Generally, everyone's really positive about this. They are acknowledging that we are looking out in everyone's best interests.
Do you see it being this way for a long time in the future, or is it something you would like to relax in some months?
Would definitely like this to be relaxed. I think it's very closely aligned with the government's COVID alert levels. Mm-hmm. So we are officially at alert level 3 in this country. Mm-hmm. We'd like that to come down to level 2, maybe level 1 at some point.
Okay.
But everything's totally under review to make sure we're doing the right thing.
Right. Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thanks James.
Thank you.
So I'm here with, I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Kelly. Yep.
Okay, and I'm David.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Do it the COVID way.
Yes. So you're pretty new. Is this your first time ever at Ceroc, or?
Yep. First time ever, completely out of my comfort zone.
Okay.
I'm not from London. I'm from Lincoln.
Right.
So I've come down, met a friend in London, and she has been doing it for a long time. And she said, "Come along, let's give it a try."
Okay. Cool. Well, welcome. First of all, were you nervous about coming to a social event after the pandemic, or not?
I think, cautiously sort of aware of there being maybe different protocols. Obviously, I had to show my COVID pass when I came in. So maybe, not really sure what to expect.
Okay. And do you feel kind of comfortable with the precautions that are being taken place? Do you feel safe enough to interact?
Yeah, I do.
People?
I absolutely do. But I think it's really strange. The pandemic gives you a different mindset. So I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm holding hands with lots of different people. And I don't think I would ever have thought about that before.
Right.
So now I'm sort of putting on my hand sanitizer afterwards, a bit more conscious, because that's just not something that we've been doing. We haven't been getting that close to people. So it's a different mindset, something that I'm more aware of now.
Okay, cool. But do you think you'll still enjoy a night of dancing, even with that in the back of your mind?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because I know that there's the safety measures are there, and the sanitizer around and things like that. And everybody that's here has to show that they've got the pass or they've got immunity, or I think it wouldn't put me off.
Okay.
What will put me off is if I'm not very good.
That's always been a problem. Yeah. But it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
cool.
So far so good.
All right, great. So this is the friend that invited you to Ceroc?
Yeah.
Okay, and how did you kind of sell it? What did you say?
She's been selling it to me for years.
Trying to get her to go for 4 years. Yeah, so we were flying down here on a trip and we didn't have plans tonight, and I just remembered there was one here at Pimlico, so I was like, please come and go, because I've never been here from the Midlands.
Right.
So I'm like, come on, we've got to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Ceroc Pinocchio.
Thanks.
We don't always have cameramen interviewing you.
Do you dance as well?
Yes, I do.
Great.
Yeah, let's have a dance.
Welcome. I'm Steve, this is Gemma. We've got 3 intermediate moves strung together into a routine so you can do them over and over again, 1 move at a time. We always start with a classic move, which is basically the next set of moves after the beginner stuff.
Yeah, how have things changed, like coming back after a pandemic? What's different about teaching a Ceroc class now?
From a personal point of view, the difference is that I'd forgotten everything. Having done it for 20 odd years, I got to the point where I was kind of almost on autopilot. I give it some thought beforehand, obviously, but could just turn the microphone on and then stuff would come out. So it would all happen. Especially with the beginner's class, which kind of we were fundamentally on a script and stuff, and I'd be really in tune with what people were doing, and I'd be able to just say stuff, like spot stuff and stuff come up. But now I have to like consciously think about what I'm doing, and it's really difficult.
So you run a franchise.
I do.
As well. And so what happened a year and a half ago when you heard about this virus thing?
I lost my job effectively because Ceroc was my sole income. Had to get another job. I now have a job. I've kind of rejoined society in a lot of ways.
Okay.
So yeah, now it's all kind of coming back again. Slowly, albeit slowly. I mean, we've been back 4 weeks now, and I would say that normal class nights are about half as busy as they would usually be in the main. Freestyles are still going okay, but yeah, people are slowly kind of getting back into it. Pimlico, which is where we are, is quite busy tonight, which is good, but I understand this is my first night at Pimlico back. I understand that this is the busiest one they've had. They've kind of been coming back slowly, and it's been the same with Greenwich and Eltham and Hove and all the other places. So it seems to be a kind of a trend of gradual as people get more confident.
Okay. And are you surprised at how many people are back now? Did you expect like a tiny crowd? And
I didn't know what to expect, you know. When it was all announced that we could come back, part of me thought maybe it's going to be busier than ever. But, you know, people have got all this kind of pent-up kind of, I want to go and do stuff about them. But that wasn't the case. I think there's still kind of a lot of apprehension out there. But, you know, people are slowly starting to come back. Am I surprised it's as busy as it is? No, Pimlico is always amazing. And, yeah, it seems to be following that upward curve. So not overly surprised.
Okay. Do you think the kind of restrictions, like needing a COVID pass, are kind of putting people off, or is it just a bit of red tape?
I think you were going to be damned if you do or damned if you didn't. I think some people will be more inclined to come because that's happening. I think some people will be put off by the fact you're doing that. And I think if they weren't doing that, it'd be the other way around. I think some people would be put off that you weren't, and some people will come because you're not. So I think either way, I think it probably balances out. I think the whole COVID pass thing is the new Brexit.
Right.
People just don't get on about it, do they?
So with your franchise, you've changed things a bit, right? So now you have videos online that people can...
Yeah, so the Ceroc Hub is a Ceroc-wide thing. I happen to be the first person to have my own channel, quite rightly so too. And everything I've done over the years, I've tried to film as much content as I possibly can and throw it up on that channel.
Right.
Every intermediate class I ever do is now going to be recorded properly, taught properly, and thrown up there. And for 15 quid a month, you will learn it all. I've done all the beginners moves. I've done all the classic intermediate moves. I've done all of my intermediate moves. I've done a bit of silk. I've done seducers. Everything. It's all on
Right.
As well as some stuff that isn't just dancing, some kind of theory stuff as well. It's very interesting.
So do you think in a way, like, it's been good to have a little kick up the arse to get content online? Is that a good thing, or has it just been a desperate measure to do something?
No, I think this has kind of forced not just dance people, but everyone to have a really think about how they do things. In Ceroc, there used to be this reticence about putting stuff online because they would think it would stop people going to the classes if they could just do it at home. But I think the whole point of coming dancing is that you're dancing out with people. And I think what it'll do is it'll kind of supplement people's learning so they can remember it properly, so they can go home and recap and then bring it back to their class night. So it's kind of forced us to rethink the way we do things in a lot of ways. You notice a lot of venues like they now take card payments. We've done it for years. But a lot of ones that haven't are now starting to do it. So there's all kinds of little changes like that are coming in. People are having to think about, and the online stuff is obviously a big one of those. COVID will, I would imagine, drift to be just one of the lurgies that people have, and where do you draw the line on what you get a pass for not having a lurgy for?
Yeah. So where do we find your stuff if we want to see your dance?
Hub.ceroc.com, or just Google Ceroc Hub, and I am the Ceroc Evolution channel, which I believe is the only one on there at the moment.
Okay.
All of our freestyles are the and then whatever they are, a bit of branding, a bit of marketing love. And we've got a new one coming out, and the date is the 12th of December, but we're doing Secret Ceroc.
Right.
This is an exclusive. I haven't told anyone this. When are you releasing this?
Probably in a few days.
Okay, cool. So we're releasing it on Friday.
Okay, right.
All right.
Yeah.
But okay. So what we're doing is, if you trust me, you can buy a ticket for about 15 quid, knowing that I booked an amazing venue and can come. Every time I give you some more information about the event, the price goes up.
Okay. Okay, I like it.
Until some way down the line you get all the information, but it'd be quite expensive by then, so best to buy early. Just trust me, it's going to be good.
So it's probably good because you're expecting people will pay more for it once they know what it is.
Definitely, and we do have good previous, like we've done, the O2 and the i360 and Kaiser and all these kind of big, fabulous.
Yeah.
It's of an ilk.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, no, I look forward to finding out what it is.
Yeah, well, if you want to gig as the photographer at the place, then
Cool. This is how I get my work.
exactly.
All right. Thanks very much, Steve.
Right. Cheers, man. I keep doing that because
I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, well, no.
I was quite surprised how many people are here. Well, not just at the venue, but like new beginners as well.
It actually is quite surprising. So I was here last week and we had, I think, 2 new people at the venue, but today we had about 10, 11 maybe. So it's really great to see that I think people are really wanting to get out and do something post lockdown, I suppose.
Yeah. So, do you think people are kind of a bit frustrated with staying inside, and now they're really looking for hobbies?
I think, well, one guy in particular, I asked him what sort of brings you here, and he was like, I want to learn a new hobby. He'd done a bit of dancing before, but just kind of wanted to learn a new hobby, meet some people, and actually sort of maybe physical contact. I don't know. Like obviously, it's all PC when you're dancing, but it's quite nice to sort of socialise.
Does it feel like a bit naughty to be out doing this?
I don't know. It does feel a bit strange, like because obviously we've been going for the last couple of years of like not being able to be this close to each other, and now we can actually hold hands and like move about a dance floor. It is does feel a little bit taboo, but then again, like having come last week, you kind of, and having been doing it for the last few years, as in dancing for the last like 5 or 6 years, you just get straight back into it. It feels so like I haven't not been here. If that makes sense. Yeah. Which is a great feeling. You kind of slip straight back into being like, oh, I can dance. Remembering the moves is another matter, but it's great.
Do you think some people are now they're put off by like the COVID pass? They're scared by the virus, and now they're gone forever. Like, do you think there are some people we'll never see them again at dancing?
Potentially, I think it might just be everything needs to sort of go back to normal, like without a COVID pass and without like the sort of like dauntingness of the virus sort of being around and it not being like a kind of a flu thing.
Yeah,
I think I don't know. I mean, we can go all political, but we're not. I think people will be back, but it might take them a bit of time.
Right.
I think it'll just when more venues open up and they see their friends and videos like this with people like actually coming to a dance class and safely doing it, I think they'll be down to come back.
Cool. Were you nervous about coming back to a room full of people, touching people's hands?
You see, originally I thought it'd be fine, and then I walked through the doors tonight, and genuinely I was like, this. Yeah, I was really nervous when I walked through the door, and it felt really, really strange. And everyone is like really cautious in there, so everyone's gelling their hands up and things. So it feels fine once you get going.
Right.
But yeah, I think just even the prospect of coming into a room like that, even if you think that you're going to be okay, is still quite intimidating.
Do you think all the right precautions are in place, like COVID pass, encouraging people to wash their hands, and people's general awareness of the pandemic, how easily things can spread? Do you feel like we're being safe enough?
So COVID passes, I think, are great. And I think, like, people in general are they're more sensible. If they're not feeling well, they're not going to come. Lots of alcohol gels everywhere, I think, is really, really helpful. I don't know how it could get any safer than that, given the nature of what it is.
It's amazing how quickly it comes back, really. Like, dancing isn't really something you forget.
It's in there, like,
very easily. And I was here last week, and I found I was doing moves that I didn't know I knew.
Yeah.
It's like they kind of just happened, and I was like, oh, cool, I know that move. I remember it. Great.
Yeah, I was dancing with someone once, and we were listening to some old music that I used to play, and all of a sudden moves were just coming back because it was from that song. It's like moves we used to do in that song. And I was like, oh, you just needed the right trigger. So things like this now are a bit like, do it while you can, just in case it can't be done tomorrow. Kind of make the most of opportunities. Like, what's going from here? Yeah. In my head, I have this idea that by next March somehow it'll be magically okay, and I don't know why, but I'm
2-year anniversary
kind
of thing. Yeah.
2 years, that's enough, that's fine. Done now.
Okay, so there you go. That is social dancing in a hopefully post-pandemic world. Quite a few different opinions, but I think on the whole people are glad to be back. They really missed being able to go out dancing. I feel like in a way maybe a break was good because people have come back to it kind of energized. I kind of felt like two main things about tonight. The first was that I'm really glad there are precautions in place, like the COVID pass, because it just makes sure that everyone in the room is either vaccinated or proven to be, not infectious. And secondly, that you do feel nervous being back around people. You can't help but wonder, are you doing the right thing? But it's either we start coming back to events like this or just cancel them forever. And I don't want to spend the rest of my life in front of Zoom on my computer at home. So I think it's good, and I think it's important that events are starting again. What do you think? I'd love to hear your opinion in the comment section down below. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope it was either useful in the present moment or will be a kind of historical curiosity as time goes on. If you're looking at this in 5 or 10 years time and thinking, what were people doing in 2021? Well, this. We were very slowly going back to stuff. Okay, leave me a like down below if you found this video useful, and you can help me out by subscribing to my channel as well. Okay, see you next time.